Shamangelic Healing Podcast is designed as a platform to share authentic conversations about real life issues, providing you with valuable resources and tools to support you in shining your most authentic self, creating a thriving life that you absolutely love, and to support you in manifesting your soul's mission. Welcome to the Shamangelic Healing Podcast. Who couldn't benefit from a little more prosperity and abundance in their life? Well, today that's where we're going to dive into with Master Cameo Gore. She's the CEO of Ignite and Expand. And today we're going to explore the mindset of prosperity and what are tools to help you manifest abundance in all forms. And yes, the green stuff. How to manifest more money and prosperity in your life. You're going to love this, so be sure to tune in for the whole episode. Check the link in the show notes because I'm going to have a free gift for you, a chakra balancing guided visualization. And also a reminder that November 13th through the 19th, join me for the free 7-day clarity challenge. That's going to help prepare you for the new year so that you can get clear about where you are, where you're going, what's in the way, and also what you're going to need to implement to get there. And the doors are open for the Quantum Leap coaching program for 2020. This is my signature certified high performance online coaching. Each month, modules that are specifically guided with every particular area of your life. So we're going to go through mindset. We're going to go through abundance. We're going to go through all of the things around spirituality and energy and vitality and productivity. These are all of the things that when we don't have in balance can sabotage our dreams manifesting into their fullest. And my dreams, my passion is to inspire millions to shine, and I want you to be able to manifest your greatest dreams into reality. And I know that at the end of your life, I know you don't want to be one of those people that regrets not having made the changes. So I want to provide accountability, I want to provide inspiration, I want to provide the tools so that you can live a life and manifest an impactful life that at the end you look back and you're like, yes, I lived fully, I made a difference, I made an impact, and I'm glad I made the changes. And so I'm right here to walk you through that so that another year doesn't go by with regret and promises that were left without, the action and the passion and the steps behind them to manifest them. So check out the Quantum Leap program and join me for a Quantum Leap in 2020. All right, let's dive into money mindset and prosperity and abundance with Cameo Gore. You're going to love this. Welcome to the Shamangelic Healing Podcast. Today, we're going to help you understand, with the help of a sweet, dear sister, an amazing guest today, Cameo Gore, how to level up your prosperity, like quantum leap your abundance. And I know everybody wouldn't mind having a few extra bucks in their pocket, and you are so masterful at this, and I know everybody listening is just going to love learning how to have a prosperity mindset and how to manifest abundance quicker and so that we have the finances and the freedom to do what we love. Yeah. So thank you. We've been like friends for like 5 years. Yes. You've come to Sedona here and had the blessing and the privilege to support you and Suzanne with the amazing Ignite and Expand work that you're doing, because it's evolved and it's grown.
It really has. It's been amazing, and we've loved having you a part of the experiences. So it's been exciting, very exciting. So we've just wrapped our 5th Ignite and Expand event.
Yes, and it's so sweet.
In Sedona, I should say. It's actually our 30th event.
Wow. And it's been growing, and what I appreciate about that is the people that are showing up are really wanting to do the work, and that you guys are willing to do breath work and like deep experiences and on the land as a part of prosperity mindset.
Absolutely, we work with a lot of different people. Some people are just getting started on the spiritual path. Some people are highly evolved and really want to deepen in. And the breathwork piece of what it is that we've worked with you on has been amazing. So,
yeah. That's part of the quantum leaping, is getting things out of the way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In the fastest way we can.
Yeah. So, we want tips today
Right.
that are going to, like, how does
Right.
this translate? What can everyday people
Yeah.
do to kind of like look at the blocks and
Yes.
how to accelerate and like quantum leap financial prosperity?
Absolutely.
So like
it's a part of our physical and spiritual makeup.
Yeah.
And it's something that's so important to talk about because if we're not feeling good about our money, we're probably not feeling good in some other areas of our life as well.
Yeah.
And so this is just really about leveling up all the areas. And when we do that as a holistic approach, then it's amazing what can happen in a short period of time with the income production of, people who want to up their game around attracting more financial resources or prosperity or abundance of whatever it is that they're wanting, because it's all an energy flow, right? So it's exciting. It's really exciting.
And it comes in many forms. Prosperity and abundance isn't just dollars, but people are most drawn into how do I attract, how do I keep,
Right.
so that I can be in that flow of prosperity and abundance, because a lot are experiencing, and I have experienced, and I'm sure you have at different times.
We all have probably, right?
Experienced like the financial flow is in a bit of a glitch or a deficit or in debt. And that brings up for a lot of people a lot of anxiety and stress.
Absolutely.
And then it translates into like health problems. And when it flips and the abundance and the prosperity is there, it's like,
You breathe again.
an exhale of like,
Right.
okay, everything's okay. Because it is kind of like a fight or flight experience when we're experienced like, can I make the bills this next month? You know?
That's a real thing. And I often see that when I have worked with so many of my clients around this topic, is that when there's a disruption in this area, there is a cycle somewhere else in the pie chart of life that the same cycle is also, it's happening over here too.
Right.
And so sometimes it's like less about so much focus on trying to fix the one money thing than trying to find the other disruptive force of another area of what's not feeling right in their life, because it's all connected, right? We all know this, right? But when we are able to adjust one, it's really amazing how the other one can absolutely just be transmuted. It can be cleared up, and everything can shift, and it creates a different energy. So, one of the things that I find that really affects this is, our beliefs.
Yeah.
I mean, because, our emotions, if we're feeling, and I'm sure so many of the listeners can understand, like if you think about your money and you feel stressed and you feel, an anxiety, and if you feel tightness, that's a very closed energy, right?
Yeah.
And so it really tells us something's up. Like we need to step back and take a breath, just like any other area or of our lives, and assess like what's going on here, because the closed energy field is not going to help to manifest. It's not going to help to release the energy of pure positivity, of passion, of excitement, of really moving the energy towards being magnetic in who you are and your purpose and what you're about and what you're selling and whatever it is and how you're serving. And that is the energy that we're wanting to really amplify, so that the connectivity of the resources to that, which is really, comes in dollars.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, actual
also
dollars.
comes in followers. It comes in, in clients.
Conversions.
It comes in conversions. Like it's a million ways. This is all abundance. And so we want to like let money off the hook. I mean, doesn't that feel amazing? Just like if we could just let money off the hook for a minute.
It just is like, it just that really does invite a bit of a gripping to just like soften. And I appreciate that you're starting first with beliefs, because when I was doing some work on my money beliefs, and all of us looking at our money beliefs, then we get to look at, where did I learn beliefs around money? And so we get to say, well, what did I learn from my grandparents that were raised in the Depression about money? And what did I learn? In a good way, you learn to, not waste money, and you learn to recycle things. And so I think there's beneficial to be aware of that. But, and also from my parents, of what I learned about, there's not enough, you have to hustle, you have to take a second job, you have to work the night shift, you know, or you take big risks and they don't pay off, and
Right.
then you bet it all and on a high risk thing, and then are experiencing big lack. And so I realized that, wow, I have all of those in my mindset around money, because I saw my mom work 2 jobs and my dad take big risks that didn't pay off, so we were always in debt. And my brother working the night shift because you got a few extra bucks working at night, but
Right.
it was affecting his physical health. So I was like, oh, geez, I'm doing all of those things because they were a part of my beliefs about how I learned how to hustle and work overtime.
Absolutely.
And so, what were some of your like off money beliefs that you were
Absolutely.
raised with, perhaps?
Well, I mean, there were so many. I was raised in a family that basically I had 2 sides. I had the side where there was a ton of prosperity, and there was also a ton of waste and mismanagement in that prosperity. And then I had another side that worked very hard and was very grounded about how they created resources and what they did with them, and really some really great money things. I actually worked for that grandfather in his business, and I learned so much that was positive at a young age about working for what it is, and doing things that we love to do. At that point in time, I was working for him, and I was working with horses. So it was amazing because I was doing something I loved. It was the first time in my life that I thought, and it was early, I had a very positive experience with this,
well, that's
because it
good.
was like, we should be doing things that we love to do. And when we do that, it creates such an amazing response to how we feel about our work. And obviously that's a circle. But some of the negative money beliefs have been around really watching some, my father had a very hard time with money, and it all stemmed from, a place of worthiness.
Yeah.
Where it always slipped through his fingers. There was never really that grounded sense of feeling like it was really solid and managed well. And it's interesting because in all of the money work that I have done with myself, I mean, it does come down to worthiness. I think so many levels with so many things in our lives. But with this conversation about money, it's that, what do we feel like we're worth? Not what are we worth, but what are our services worth? Because they translate to each other. What is my value in the world? And all of these questions that are such a deep, deep level of what we have to answer is how we show up in our confidence. And I think the more confident that we are, it is a vibration.
Yeah.
And this vibration attracts what it is that we're wanting. Instead of pushing it away.
You said something also, so that part of law of attraction has to do with the third chakra around solar plexus, confidence, worthiness, that abundance flows, is attracted to that. You said something, so I think that that's super important, is if we're looking at a lack of that somewhere of money, or a glitch in the matrix, in the money matrix, to look at, is it, question mark, is it having to do with confidence and worthiness? Another thing that you mentioned that I think is really important is mismanagement, because we can think we're worth a lot and get a lot, just like a lot of professional athletes, like that. Oh, I'm worth $10 million a year,
Right.
and they're attracting it. They're confident. They're really good at, and they have earned it, and they're great in with their skill or their craft. And yet it's mismanaged. It's not respected.
Right.
There isn't an understanding that says this has value and I shouldn't just attract it and not honor it. It doesn't mean you hoard it.
Absolutely.
But it means you understand that I have attracted this, I have earned it, and now let me respect it and invest it or manage it properly.
Absolutely. I'm just having this vision of something that is just, it's so cool, because I'm thinking about like a crop, and I'm thinking about like harvesting a crop and taking what it is that we can eat, right?
Yeah.
And then taking seeds from the things that we're harvesting and actually planting them. And that is investments. That's other opportunities. That's putting away things. That is a portion of what it is that you're receiving. And getting in this mindset really allows for, it's amazing. I absolutely do this. I'm gonna give a tip right now, because
Tip.
I've had so many clients like bust through so many cool things by doing this. And this is having an abundance account. So every time, in a month, or, say with a bonus or however it is that you're receiving money, you take 10%. And off the top, it goes straight into this other account. And it's literally labeled abundance account. And it's incredible. It's incredible how quickly that can grow, because then your focus is about how you're doing well, how you're saving, how you're managing things well. And the conversation in the mind starts to change. And this is so powerful, because so many times we think, oh my gosh, I've got the money and now I don't have the money. I've got the money, now I don't have the money. And so then that's the conversation. But if we switch this up a little bit and say, okay, we've got this abundance account. It's like the harvest of the crop and having the seeds that are going into a separate space, except it's physical. We're seeing this. Yeah. And then we're having this conversation with ourselves, watching it grow, and it's exciting.
Yeah.
And this is how it should feel.
Yeah.
Right?
Like abundance that multiplies. And so, because I think what happens is when a windfall comes in, a bonus or a big sale, whether like for example with somebody in real estate or where it's like, oh, you make a big
at one time.
or a big contract for anybody that is working in sales or anything like that, a big contract, and then then famine for 6 months, right? And so I think one of the things that you're talking about there is like carve off some of that and save it. My grandmother was the same way about that. It was a 10%. My mom too, 10%. My grandmother was better at that. Then when we go into this credit thing that says, oh, but I want it now when I'm in a famine phase and I don't have an abundance account, so I'm going to put it on credit.
Well, and I mean, there is a time for that when the mindset is aligned with what it is that you're wanting, and you absolutely need to have a certain way of being supported to get to the next place that you're going. But that's when this abundance mindset and really creating the new normal of where you're headed is so crucial, because, just because debt can be our friend.
Yeah, oh boy, it's been put the feet to the fire to my feet many times of like, whoa, like if I have leveraged that to build the business or to help with the kids
risk, and we have to take risk to. And I'm not saying that we always need to go into debt to do it, but sometimes that is really realistic. And I think it's amazing at that time, though, that we really realign to know that our debt is our investor, our debt is our friend, and it's there to help us to up level to the next place. So this is important too, because if we look at debt as a negative space, right, then it's going to grow.
Oh,
right?
Right.
I mean, can you get that?
Yeah,
you kind of feel that?
Yeah.
And if we look at it as something that is a gift because it gave us whatever it was that it was for that person, and we thank it, and we get into a space of really this exchange of gratitude, and also aligning again on this really strong perspective about what's next and the plan, right?
Because so that way,
it takes money off the hook. It takes the money off the hook.
So that way, we focus on having those big months where 10% goes over there to the abundance account, and 10% goes into the gratitude for buying me some time or buying me the resources that I need to up level, whether it was a training or in a new warehouse, a new product, whatever it was that invited you, or advertising to go to the next level. So I like that, because I hadn't heard that before, and I really appreciated that. Thanking that ability to draw upon a line of credit if it's done smartly, and you're not like putting it on a credit card at 28%, or something like that, is that you're learning how to leverage a line of credit strategically and not excessively.
Yeah, and it's just all the relationship. It's all the thought process, and it's the belief, and it goes back to the belief. Is this a positive decision that's going to affect my future? Then, if it's a hell yes, then then it's for you, and that's how you know. I mean, it's just really truly important, and really dissecting, because there's so many of these ancestral patterns that we carry, and we really, to have a really healthy, strong, and positive dynamic with money, we have to be in the position of being willing to really assess all of those. Some of the things that you do on a deeper level to help people is so profound, probably, for that. And I mean, I'm sure people don't come to you with like the intention of it, but when we release certain things in our lives, then we make space for new possibilities of where we want it to go. Right. And so, where do we want to go? That's a great question. It's having this vision of what our new normal is. I like to say, like, we need to be the creators of what it is that we would like to see instead, because everyone's got a money thing, but everyone also has the opportunity and this, honestly, the ability to manifest what they want. We're meant to manifest and receive our desires. And some of that is abundance. Some of that is money. Some of that is a lot of other things too. But it's a really an awesome opportunity to take a look inside and see what that would look like if there were no boundaries, if there weren't unlimited possibilities. What would that look like? What kind of lives would we want to lead? And this is where we begin to get out of this stuck thinking about how it's been.
So because what we're talking about here is a belief upgrade.
Yeah.
Belief that you have. So some of the limiting beliefs are, I have to hustle, there's not enough, I'm not worthy,
time.
I don't have time.
Money doesn't grow on trees. Money is the root of all evil. People that have money are greedy. People that have money are not spiritual.
Yeah.
You know, people that have money are bad people. I mean, and I grew up with grandparents that, my grandmother was Great Depression, and amazing woman, taught me so much. And at the same time, like, very, very thrifty with every dollar. And that's awesome. But, there's a different way. We get to choose how we want to be.
Right.
And to have more money is to have more influence. And I know that your community and my community have the heart-centered place of, like, really caring.
Yeah.
And what I am here to say is that the more money that heart-centered entrepreneurs make, the more money that people who are in their heart centers and their internal wisdom and they're using their intuition and want to make a difference in the world and an impact, the more good we can create in the world.
Right.
So I'm here to say, like, what an exciting opportunity. Right? Because the more we earn, the more we get to give back.
Yeah, it's a flow of energy currency that says, then I get to invest in the new paradigm, I get to invest in the products, the resources, and the people, or in things that are going to influence positively humanity or planet.
Absolutely.
And so a lot of that is going to be reworking the beliefs, money's bad, money's evil, or that I can't be spiritual and also be prosperous.
And I can't hold on to money and all the other beliefs that go along with it.
Yeah.
And this is a really great time to just really talk about what motivated me.
Yeah.
Because I did very well in my business very quickly once I started. And
I remember when you started and you were like, oh, can I do this? And you were really like, I haven't done this before. You shifted from corporate, right? And we're compensated well in that.
And at that time believed that was the only way.
The ceiling.
Right. And the thing is that we have to have a vision. A vision of our business, a vision of our lives, and some people want to call this a legacy. Some people want to call it whatever they want to call it. But to have a vision is so, so crucial. And, I remember having this moment and making this decision that, if I made a certain amount of money in my business, that, a certain percentage of that was going back to a really powerful give back that I believed in. And it was really exciting to me because after I was able to hit that goal, and I know it was because of this heart-centered desire to make a bigger impact, I was able to, between the two businesses that I own, create homes for 2 people in third world countries through a nonprofit run by a group of incredible millennials called New Story. And they make these homes that are really amazing in third world countries. And I remember being in a room with other influencers that were doing this work in the Bay Area where I live. And it was fantastic because I was looking around the room and I was like, how did I end up in this room? And, because my contribution was small compared to what that room was. And it was all perception. And I remember sitting in the room thinking, well, you're in this room because you had a vision. You're in this room because you had a bigger plan for what it is and why you wanted to create, because you wanted to have this ripple effect. And I think I'm really grateful, and it's a really exciting place when you can manifest that, create it, and then look around the room and think, how did I end up here?
Right, and then share it. And I think
share
that
it.
part of that having a vision is not just how much stuff can I have.
No.
Because what I think
And I
is
like stuff.
Stuff is great. Stuff can be amazing, and
Right.
and it can be a prison, as you have
Yes.
found too.
Yes.
One of my clients, when he was in his last days, I was just like, I've accumulated all of this stuff, and it took years off my life to have to take care of the yacht and take care of this home and that home and all of that. And so it can also be bittersweet. What I'm
right.
hearing with you is that when your vision isn't about just being a stuff collector,
Right.
Or having the things to validate, that I'm worthy or I've arrived, but more about, is this about your legacy, your
Purpose.
impact, your purpose, making humanity or the planet or both
Right.
better in some way long after I'm gone?
Yeah.
And I think that those are also the vibrations of
Prosperity.
the vibrations of prosperity that I have so much in the vision right now. Even if you're in massive debt, even if you don't know how the how is,
You don't need to know the how,
you don't need to know the how.
but you do have to have the vision.
To have the vision of
You got to want it.
what would it look like if I could have the abundance,
Right.
and that it was overflowing and I was covered and I was taken care of and like all of my needs were more than met. Then what would be that person, that organization, that issue that is a burning desire in the heart, that I want to have an impact and have such financial abundance that I can say, yes, let me fund a scholarship for this needy person.
Yeah.
Let me fund, homes in third world countries, and congratulations, and what a beautiful gift. Or let me invest in the new paradigm of energy or recycling, sustainable products.
Gives us choice, and it gives us an opportunity to do what we want to do, to give back. And I believe the universe is a friendly universe. So the more we are in that energy, the more that the energy of that comes back to us.
Yeah.
And I think one of the crucial things for people that are thinking, well, okay, that's great, like, so good for you, happy for you, but what about me? My situation doesn't look so great, right now, is that everything's temporary.
Right.
And so when it starts is when we hit rock bottom, or when we get to that place and we're like, this I'm done with.
Yeah, it sucks.
I'm done with operating this way. And I believe for a massive shift to happen anywhere in our lives, we have to be there.
Sometimes
we have
that's
to call it.
yeah.
And we have to say, okay, let's really take a look at this and dive in, and let me right now decide what I want instead.
So wherever you are, the vision shift of like, okay, this is where I am. And I think it's important, radical honesty of like, where am I? Not in denial.
Right.
And not from a place of pity or victim, but just, okay, where am I at? How did I get here? Because some of the beliefs
that got me
or lack of vision or mismanagement or lack of confidence got me here. So looking at like, how did I get here? So we're not just ending up again there. So, and then, well, where do I want to be? And this is where I think that the GPS makes sense of like saying, I have to acknowledge where I am, and I need to have the vision of where I am in order for the GPS to work.
And appreciate also that, that where you're at is okay.
Yeah.
We're all on this journey, and that, we're all trying to figure it out on some level. So, where you're at, no matter where it is, and if you've already feel like you've created prosperity, but you want to take it to the next level of really having an amazing give back and a campaign in your business and all the things, or if, there's some negative money cycles going on that need to be rerouted.
Yeah.
And it's all possible. I mean, that's the point. And I really want people to know and to take charge of this area of their life. Because for so many, I've seen that it can really wreak havoc and create a lot of angst and anxiety, not just with each individual, but within families.
Right, and health.
And health,
can create a lot of problems
stress,
and relationship challenges. Absolutely. And I experienced that for sure in my family, how the money beliefs affected the nervous system. In the whole household, the nervous system was off because it was, do we have enough, and is this going to happen, and what's happening next, and that can certainly affect.
And it's interesting because I've seen that exact pattern be running in households that have very high net worths. And through, so it's interesting because, again, that's mindset. Is there enough? Yes, there's quite plenty. But there's still a pattern running here, and of probably what they came into the relationship with from what they learned from their parents, and it was scarcity. And so many of us have that vibration of scarcity. It's real. It keeps us alive, right? Like it's kind of like that's why originally we had that. But the scarcity feeling in a financial perspective is not a good feeling to be running.
Right.
And it's where we need to get into the feeling and witnessing and believing, no matter what, that there's enough.
Yeah.
So where do we need to rewrite the script to see that vision in our own financial picture so that it feels that way?
So how would you recommend that process of shifting a limited lack mindset to a prosperity mindset or beliefs,
Totally.
like what, you said earlier, like this unstoppable prosperity mindset and shifting from limiting lack beliefs to that. So besides vision and courage, what other tips do you have to help people make that shift, not only in their mind, but how it can actually translate? Because I know people say, oh, law of attraction, yes, I envision abundance, but they're not taking any actions to
Right.
shift anything.
Right, because they still have deep beliefs around things. And I mean, this is so much, there's so much to this. There's a lot of depth to this work. But what I can say is that getting in touch with the core beliefs that really are running the show around the money mindset piece is number one.
Yeah.
What are the core beliefs? Do I believe that every time, that the other shoe is going to drop off,
Right.
if I, what are the things, what are the patterns that have been happening? And those are clues. So if you have patterns where you get money and you lose it, or that, you can't create it for periods of time, and it comes and it goes, like getting in tune with what those patterns look like.
Yeah.
And sometimes they definitely revolve around scarcity. Where am I feeling the scarcity? And getting honest. Like, I think that we have to get honest about it. And then from there, we get to call it out. And just like everything, there's a shadow, there's a light. And so with the light, it's really shifting it by knowing that when we change our belief, we are human projectors. I mean, we know that science proves that our thoughts create our energy fields.
Right.
Our thoughts not only create our own energy fields, but can strengthen or weaken other people's energy fields.
Right. It's like
It's
it's amazing that
powerful.
science has now confirmed that.
Absolutely.
Right.
So this is like, as many people will say, oh, that's woo-woo and affirmations and this and that. It's not. Our brains are powerful. They still don't know exactly 100% how powerful they are, but they affect our nervous system. They affect our actions. It affects how we feel, our emotions, and all of our bodies. So it's where we get to really define the beliefs and start catching ourselves, and then begin witnessing and visualizing this. It can't be one day. This is a life shift.
Right.
It's like if you want to eat, great and eat a salad one day, you're not going to lose weight. You might feel better that day. But if we do this over a period of 30 days or 2 years, our lives change. Our physical bodies change. Right. And this is the same thing that we can apply into having like a really amazing, prosperous business or amazing, prosperous life. And every dimension is really changing and shifting all of the cobwebs around this.
Yeah, because when you say cobwebs, that gives us an indication that they didn't just arrive.
No.
Because if we got these beliefs as children and they were reinforced,
Right.
and then we reinforced them and society reinforced them, then they're pretty deep grooves in our biology, in our brain, and having effect on the physiology, and with the law of attraction, either attracting or in this case repelling abundance with the beliefs made manifest in energy form. And so in switching that, I appreciate what you're talking about, is you're going to have to become aware of those beliefs. And I like to call it a pivot or a switch.
Great.
That says, oh, I'm
Flip the switch.
going down that story. How can but I need to have something else to switch onto, which is what you're saying is
Flip the switch.
the vision, the belief, and positivity, affirmation, and a visceral feeling that this isn't just something I'm saying, it's something that I know is possible. So a belief
Yes.
isn't just something I'm prosperous, I'm prosperous, I'm prosperous. Because like,
Feeling
yeah, we have to feel it. Because like the
right?
universe isn't going, that's not going to attract it if we don't really believe it. So a belief is not just saying something, but if the energy of the belief is still there, that's underneath saying I'm prosperous, but it's like, I'm full of shit.
Right.
You know, when really it's like, okay, I've got to believe it and feel it and know that it's possible, even if I'm not there yet.
Yes.
So this is a habit. What I'm hearing about is pivoting daily or multiple times a day so that we can begin to rewire.
Well, mindset work is a pivot. It's looking at our beliefs, and sometimes we don't like and what our mind is saying.
Yeah.
Which is sometimes is different than a belief, but what our mind tells us and the mind chatter, which is obviously why meditation is great and other things, so we can witness it.
Yeah.
Because we are not our minds, but our minds sometimes are running the show. So how do we create that space where we can witness what our minds are telling us?
And I mean, and one of the main ways to do that, how would you recommend people creating that space to witness?
Well, meditation, of course. You know, doing the inner work, which we all, you know, I don't. I love the inner work. I think it's why we're here. We're here to grow. But many people want to skate around that.
Yeah.
And if you want to change something, if you want things to be different, you have to be willing to excavate.
Yeah.
And really dig. And I like digging deep because like it's kind of fun, right?
Well, there's the blind spot becomes known. You're like, oh, that's why I keep tripping over it. It's not because they put that there.
Right.
It's because I wasn't aware of it and I kept tripping over it and I blamed them. And so I don't always love, but I love being seen that because it's an empowering awareness that says, oh, well, now I can make an empowered choice to be aware of it and step around it, ask for help, get assistance, get some advice to be able to move over that boundary or that block that was holding me back before, and bringing it out of the out of the blind spot and into the crosshairs of, oh, now I'm aware of it and now I can do something about it. I'm no longer a victim of finances, or I'm no longer a victim of poor health choices if I move that out of the blind spot and into awareness. And so doing the inner work, I love that. My healing practice is all about going deep in radical honesty around, the shadow of what's there. It's not a judgment or guilt or shame. It's more
reality. And I think that's
reality.
such a great point, because you were talking about the shadow, judgment, guilt, and shame. I think that's what keeps people stuck in the shadow of money, of anything, is the judgment of yourself. The guilt and the shame. And the one thing that was coming through earlier is that I really want people to forgive themselves for no matter what, no matter where they are, no matter if they've hit their goals, no matter if they haven't, and just to clean the slate.
Yeah.
Because when we have a clean slate, that is exactly where we can really have a nice place to have a launching pad to create a quantum leap.
For sure, because otherwise we're trying to move forward with shackles from the past and feeling guilt and shame about the decision we haven't.
So what do we need to let go of, right?
Yeah. What do we let go of?
I mean, like literally dump, let go of, slice off the past. You are not that.
Forgive.
You are not your parents. You are, like in a completely different realm of what you want. You get to decide. We get to decide. Yeah. And so like, how empowering is that? And how exciting is that? Yeah. And that's really, to me, is that life needs to be exciting. Yeah. Right?
Because we're not programmed for boredom.
In a positive way, a positive excitement, right?
Right.
And we also, in that, what excites me is possibility. Yeah. And there's a million possibilities. So when we're stuck in the space of like, I can't create this, I can't make this, I can't have that, I can't do this, then we're not expanded to the possibility field. We're contracted. Right. We're in the fear, we're in the anxiety, we're in the whatevers. So it's like looking at this and saying, okay, where do I really want to be instead? What is my new normal? What do I want to focus on instead? And I love to see in a visualization a million doorways. So in a meditation or visualization, visualize a million doorways, literally. And in the million doorways, you have a certain number of doorways that are gold. So there's a million opportunities and possibilities out there to change anything you're wanting in your life. And obviously your finances and your prosperity and all the things too. And there's a million opportunities, and there really, really are, right? I mean, we can agree on this.
There's lots of choices.
I mean, probably more than that.
Lots of choices.
So the universe is always giving us opportunities and possibilities. And if we see this in a visualization, we actually see a certain number of doors that are gold with our name on them. And we absolutely know that those opportunities, can you feel this? And those possibilities are there.
I love it.
The only thing we need to do is not to know the how, but to push on the door.
Yeah. Open it
Just
up.
push it. Yeah. You don't even have to open it. Push it. If it opens, then that's your door. Mm-hmm. And then you'll know because you walk through. And you may be scared. It may be a new opportunity. And sometimes that puts us out of our comfort zone. But we have to be willing to push on doors. Right. And I mean, I love that analogy because sometimes we're trying to figure out everything from A to Z. And we just need to push on the next door.
Right. Well, and I think a lot of times with million doors, a lot of them aren't yours.
Right.
And I think that that's really valuable. Just because one's knocking at your door doesn't mean you're like, oh, this is law of attraction. Yes, but that doesn't, that might be somebody else's intention.
Right.
And, also to be able to know that thanks for the opportunity, but this isn't my doorway. And so I think in that, I like that visualization because a lot of times people are just reactive to whatever knocks on the door for them rather than going after the doorways that are theirs, that are gold, that are aligned, that are their soul doorways.
Yeah, can you feel that?
I really can because a lot of people, well, this person asked me to do this thing.
Right.
But it wasn't on path. It wasn't on purpose. It took you off your soul's alignment. And it wasn't abundant. I don't know why. Or I said yes, but I don't love it. It's abundant, but I don't love it. And that's not the golden doorway. Yeah. So a lot of people are doing jobs because they came to them or they knocked on the doorway, but it was the wrong doorway. It was the doorway of their parents. It was the doorways that society said go, or they were told to go that doorway instead of, I think what I'm feeling in this beautiful kind of guided visualization and meditation, and I'll do it tomorrow, and just play with it, is to be like, yes, there's unlimited possibilities, which feels nice in itself.
Right.
And can be overwhelming. And it's just like, yeah, but there are those doors that my soul, and at this time, there might be this other door that it's not time for me to push. It might be a 5-year door or a 2-year door, but to allow the universe to show me what's the golden door that is the one that I need to go through next. And I like narrowing it down from 1 million to 100 to the one I push now. Because then it's not so overwhelming of I have to do it all. Because if we just table the ones that aren't the right time and they aren't ours, it narrows our focus to not feel so frenetic and spread too thin.
Yes.
By opening too many doorways at once.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Not that you or I have ever done that a lot.
No, I don't know anything about that. But I love that, and I think that that's a perfect recap of what that's about. And it's also those golden doors, knowing that they're gold.
Yeah.
There is an energy of abundance and prosperity and those doorways, and you know that that's going to be what you will receive. So the other thing I think it's really important to just touch on is that how good are we at receiving? Because there's a lot of clients that have attracted what it is that they're wanting, but they push it away. And this can be in a lot of things. It can be with men, it could be with, spouse, significant other, money, it could be with jobs, compliments, all these things. And so where are we reflecting back the things that we're asking for and saying, no, thank you, no, I won't have that. Or, let me pay you for your service. And they're like, oh no, I'll just do it. And, between you and I, women can be really tough on themselves this way because we're not really taught to stand in our services and what it is that we're charging and what it is that we feel like our things that we're offering are worth. And I think it's a powerful place to be, and it's an important place for a woman to claim this in her life and her business.
And men too, and men,
their
value.
But absolutely, both. But I find that women are not taught this as much just as a societal thing in the coaching that I've done. So
that goes back to what you said earlier about the confidence that says, oh well, that gender has more confidence around money, is maybe feels more comfortable asking for the price ticket, the price that you want, and
absolutely,
willing to do that. And lots of people struggle with that. But one of the things that I think I love that you brought up receptivity, because I was like that, the accommodator. Oh, no, 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 let me take care of you, but I can't receive because I don't want to be greedy, or I don't, you're more important than me, and this kind of like, oh, I couldn't take from you, that's not right. And that was modeled for me, and had to rewire that, because this is like, the ascended master that has to do with that flow of abundance is Lakshmi, and I'm like, wow, 2 hands giving and 2 hands receiving.
Yes.
And like really sitting with that understanding that I can't give unless I receive. And so not only receiving my value and my worth with the services that I provide.
Love this. Yes.
But also like receiving a compliment, receiving somebody to open the door for you. Can I help you out with your groceries? Sure. Can I do it myself? Yes. That's not the point. Somebody wants to give, and that's lovely. To receive help, support, encouragement, and tips are another thing that like, where somebody would offer to give me like a tip, and in my business I sound like, yes, thank you very much. And I learned how to just say, thank you for seeing me, thank you for valuing me, and it felt so good, because then the tip's like a $10,000 tip.
Wow. That's awesome.
Because the
You
work
said
that, yes, I said thank you.
She said
Not
yes.
like, oh, no, 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 no.
Right.
And because they value, the work that I did for their family was
Right. Deep.
saved lives.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you right now, saved lives. It was a family of 6, and the life that the work that I did saved lives, and I gave and gave well, and beyond and beyond and beyond. And they knew I was a single mom putting 2 kids through out-of-state college, and they had the abundance, and they were so grateful that I was able to do things for their family that they couldn't do for themselves.
Wow.
And they said, not only is this a abundance for your work, this is also a gift for you as a mother, for all that you give out, and for all the times that you weren't able to do what you wanted to do financially.
Yes.
And it was like, had I not done all of the receptivity work to be able to receive $50, $100, a compliment, a helping hand, then there was no way I would have been able to receive a gift of such
that caliber.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I'm worth it. I delivered, and I was like brought to my knees with tears of gratitude.
Of course.
But I really appreciate that you brought that receptivity in.
Yeah. And I love this because it's so illustrative of how we can do small things. So like you talked about the groceries, and I have small kids, and I can do it all, and I do the groceries, and and I've started to over the past couple of years always ask, can someone help me to my car?
Yeah.
Because
It's
why
okay.
not?
Well,
I mean, and they're happy too. We chat, we have a good time, and it feels good to receive that help. And I think that it's an important and powerful way of being, is that when we're able to receive that level of anything in our lives. Yeah.
A helping hand, inspiration, feedback, a compliment. And so this is the prosperity flow, is checking in with the beliefs, and
And where am I
also-
giving too much?
Right.
And where am I empty?
For sure.
So
This is like
kind
after,
of-
like we both just had a mega weekend of service. And so then we get to stop and pause instead of going right into the next thing. Like we're both looking at each other like, okay, let's hold each other accountable for this. Because we teach it, and we're both rolling our eyes, and we're teaching it, going,
Yeah.
And, to the receptivity is to say, from this abundance that just came in, let me do % back to a massage, which you got a massage before.
Yeah.
Before the retreat. Like, that's a beautiful way to, let me
Oh,
fill
you
my
have
cup
to.
before I go
You
and
have
give.
to. And serving from a full cup is a whole different energy than, when we're trudging through. And, moms, we if you're, people who have children, like, there's a certain element of that that's just truth.
Yeah.
And, it's really checking ourselves and saying, when do we need to kind of recalibrate and refill? Because this, again, is this abundance place. This is a place of abundance. And keeping ourselves in check and in tune with that energy flow is so crucial.
Yes.
So crucial.
Yes. And like fill back up again. And I think the accommodator, the doer, the A-type personalities, let me give it everybody, at the expense of self, which is also not an abundance mindset.
Absolutely.
Give to everybody, but I'm not included in that. That's the martyr that is definitely going to be in a deficit energetically or physically in some way. which can also map to finances.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what other amazing tips are really helpful in, because we're going to wrap up in a little bit, and I want to make sure everybody gets the juice.
Well, it's just really getting into what the new normal is of what we're wanting to create, of what each viewer, listener is wanting to create. Not settling for what it is that you think you can have, but reaching for what it is that you deserve, what it is that you want, and knowing that you don't need to let the how get in the way. I created the business that is a thriving business, and now we're serving like thousands and thousands of people with different events and programs of what we are offering. And it absolutely, did I not know the how? I did not know the how. And it was started on a shoestring budget. But the truth is that when you have the vision, when you have a new normal of how you want your life to be, how you want your lifestyle to be, that you want to earn more, work less, you want to serve from your heart, have a purpose in the world, and actually be in the world doing your purpose, and that you make those non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Non-negotiable. And this is where things pivot. Because when we make things non-negotiable, the universe has a way of working them out. And this does have to do with mindset, because where we fall backwards is not making things negotiable, is thinking we can't have them, thinking we're not worthy enough, and this is where we have to catch ourselves. But the space of being non-negotiable with our desires is in a powerful place, and it's a place of abundance. And it is work.
Yeah.
Right? We can't just call in our dreams and expect that they're going to show up tomorrow. But if you have a dream, you're meant for it.
And you get to do the work to get there. You know, we can be sitting here and we're, looking at Thunder Mountain over there. It's
beautiful.
like, if we wanted to summit that mountain, we're starting here. That's the way, but it's going to take steps to get there. And there's definitely a path up the mountain, and there's not a path. And so when you say it's non-negotiable, it also gives I think listeners and viewers the opportunity to say, if this is non-negotiable, if I'm heading to that summit, then I'm not being distracted with all of these other trails that are going to a different place, because we can, or we can be walking around the mountain and around the mountain and around the mountain, and we're not getting up the mountain. And so I think we can be in the illusion that we're not doing the right tasks to get us up there. So there's a level of discernment. When you say non-negotiable, then does this align with where I'm going? Because if it doesn't, then I'm not going to negotiate. I'm not like, so that, I love that. And that to me thinks like that there's the trail up there.
And the other thing is that we don't have to have it all figured out.
That's good. Because that stops people from starting.
It's a lot of pressure. And if we think we have to have all of the points figured out, like, this is about guidance. This is about knowing that there is divine guidance. Every single person listening to this is divinely guided and will know. And if you ask to know, then you will know even stronger. It's using your intuition in a whole nother level to know that when you claim your non-negotiables in life, when you claim your non-negotiables around what you want in your financial picture, around how you want your business to look, around anything, then we can allow ourselves to deepen into our intuition and be led.
Right.
And that's a powerful place to operate from.
That's a very important mindset, prosperity, abundance tool and resource that we have. Linked into receptivity that we said earlier is that when we're also receptive in this place of divine guidance and the monkey mind, how am I going to do this? And the fear-based, all of those limiting beliefs get tabled in a place where we can allow in, if we're not blocking Spirit's guidance, because then we're also limiting how the how gets in,
right.
Because inspiration is to bring Spirit in. And so if we sit willing with the mind humbled to say, okay, what are my next 2 steps? So what I'm hearing is faith-based living is a big part of prosperity consciousness.
Yeah, and I think that, really honoring your gut.
Yeah.
Because some people are like, well, what is intuition? What does that mean?
Yeah.
And we work with a lot of people on developing that part of their being. But it's following your gut.
Yeah.
It's allowing yourself to be led, which is sometimes requires surrender.
Yeah. And a lot of faith.
We don't always know.
Yeah.
And
especially if you're growing and you're going into a whole new territory. If you've never been up that mountain before, it's going to be unfamiliar. And having a coach or having a guide that's been up the mountain before helps, and being willing to receive guidance. Or maybe I need a tool or a different resource or a different skill to accelerate the abundance at the next level. That sounds like receptivity as well, to be able to say, hey, I'm open if I need. I didn't even know how to do a podcast.
Right?
So when I'm like, oh man, you know, when I got that in a cave, actually, in the shaman's cave, I got that like download of, oh, it's time for you to do a podcast. I'm like, I don't know how to do the podcast. I've never done it before, but that doesn't stop me from saying, getting radically curious and asking people that have done it before.
Wow.
And like making mistakes, trying it, still a work in progress, but having fun doing it.
Having a good time.
Yeah, and making a difference.
Speaking your truth and doing your purpose and going bigger, you know, like declaring a new normal about the lives that, you wanting to impact. And I can relate to that so much in my business as well. So it's an awesome place to be, and this is the place, and so I'm excited.
You know, one other thing that I want to touch on before we wrap up is that you mentioned the emotionality of the vision and how important it is to feel it, because that's what rewires the brain and it helps to build the new normal faster from the old freeway that's broken down and isn't abundant. That freeway that is a default. It's a pathway.
It truly
is a neural pathway.
A neural pathway.
And so when we add that emotionality of the passion of feeling already the joy of being able to help a family, long before you've experienced the abundance. What will it feel like? What will it sound like? What will it be doing?
To have your home paid for, to have a home, to have a second vacation home, to have the vacation of your dreams with your children that you've been wanting for 3 years, to have your debt paid off, to have 7 figures in the bank, 6 figures in the bank, whatever the goal is, because it's different for everybody. But can we wrap some emotion around it?
Yeah.
Right? Can we get excited about it?
What does it feel like to change lives?
Can we give it to ourselves before we actually have it? And have that experience of the emotional component. And I think this is such a huge one, because the neural pathway thing it is real.
Yeah, for sure.
And we create loops, okay? And so when we begin building up a new loop of something that feels exciting, reaching for that better feeling thought, then that is where we tend to go in our mindset, instead of down the path of I can't have it, or wouldn't it be nice if, or I wish I could but I can't. And it's time to kind of leave those behind. Yeah. It's time to step into the next vision of what really and truly, what everyone's desiring, because that's what we can have.
Right? Oh, it's so good. And for those listening and watching, like, ask the question right now: what am I lit up about really creating? What is the version of me that I am excited? And what does he or she, what does it feel like to be that abundant?
Absolutely.
And what choices would I make? What impact would I have? And to be able to feel the impact, whether it's an environmental impact, whether it's a human impact, whether it's being a better parent, whether it is making a difference in humanity in some way, like, what would it feel like? And so inviting you to have that question, to take some time to identify that dream, that feeling of that version of you, how it shows up and what it feels like and who's benefiting. That has always been a driving factor, of like who's benefiting. And that's one of the reasons why this podcast came up, was because it's like, oh, I want to benefit people more than just one-on-one or in groups, in person, because I want to inspire millions to shine. So then I needed a platform that was also going to reach people with that content. And so I was dreaming in advance the impact it was going to have. And oh my God, that podcast changed my life, or that session or that retreat changed my life. And thank you so much. I did this, I changed my life. And one of the women that has been to your retreat, that has been a client of mine too, between the both of us and Suzanne as well, she's here on this planet and cancer didn't take her out.
Right.
And so with someone like that we can see and feel and know that we had the ability to help her change her mindset, change her habits, and the way she is with family, self-care, and boundaries, and her attraction and her abundance, where she's now doing wonderful workshops to inspire other people instead of one foot in the grave.
Right.
Like that to me is like, oh.
Everything.
if we can do that, if we can help people shine and make a difference and then turn around and help other people, like that lights me up.
Yeah.
So for those listening, watching, what lights you up? What is that dream that you're so excited to manifest that is keeping you awake, that is going to help you rebuild those loops in a positive way?
Absolutely.
That is, and you can feel it and taste it.
And it feels exciting, and
Yeah.
it's, it's a rebirth, and this is the juice. This is
it. This is why we're here.
This is why we're here, and let's remember. Let's figure it out. Let's remember what that is, and for everybody, it's different.
Right.
But you have every right to claim it, and it's yours. It's yours for the taking. And the bigger the dream, the bigger the possibilities. Right. Honestly.
Well, and people are waiting for your dreams to come true. Like
they are. People are waiting for
your magic.
You.
Right.
And everyone that is wondering, oh, am I good enough to do that, or can I have this, or what about this? No, yes, and everyone's waiting.
If the dream was given to you, it was given to you for a reason.
Absolutely.
And like, imagine if, people that were taking the dreams that they were receiving, and like we get to be on the receiving end of people's divine dreams, like their best gift, their most amazing, perfect offering. It's like, great, I'm glad you had that gift, because that's not my dream. Like, I don't know how to do that. But you making the music, oh, it nourishes my soul. And somebody else bringing some other gift, like this is how we create the new paradigm, is people that are receiving those inspired dreams.
Taking action.
And having the mindset and the belief and the pivot and the action to get it done and manifest it. Thank you so much.
So
I mean, you've given me a wonderful meditation. I know, like we could do this for hours.
Yeah.
So you've given me personally, and also I'm sure the audience, some wonderful tips. I'm excited to do that doorway meditation and, really just energize my prosperity mindset yet again, up level it, and just make sure there isn't any, leaks in that are sneaking in. So thank you so much. You gave me some wonderful tips. I know, it's so good. I know.
Thank you.
I love your energy. This is why from day one we were just like, yep, soul sister, and I'm so grateful to support the work that you're doing. And so please let everybody know where they can find you.
So you can find me cameogore.com or igniteandexpand.com, and also Facebook and Instagram, same handle.
So we will make sure to have all of Cameo's links and her website and all of her social media links. We'll be sure to have that in the show notes, so definitely check that out. And you can always find me here in Sedona and online at shamangelichealing.com, Anahata Ananda on all social media. And we just want to thank you for tuning in, for choosing to invest this time in your own self and the prosperity of your own development. And if you loved this, if you found it value, if there was just one golden pearl or a golden doorway or prosperity tip that you think was really valuable for you, please do your friends and family a favor and share this, tag them, let them know about this. Let's let a lot of people shift their mindset around money, and give us a rave review, share it, like it, and thank you so much for tuning in. As always, I respect your time because it is valuable, and thank you for investing it in us. And we hope we gave you some things that you can go invest your time and energy in that will return back to you 100-fold in prosperity in all ways.
Yes.
Yes. Go forth and manifest. Thank you.